Hey guys, I'm back. I just finished a tournament in Spain. Now I'm in Prague, and I'm gonna have a lot more free time coming up to do more YouTube exclusive videos. So I got a message a week or two ago from someone online. I think he follows my content, who asked me if I could do this test, this elometer test, which I've never heard of. It's called elometer.net. And this is actually my first time visiting the site. I haven't even fully read the instructions here. But essentially, it's some kind of test to measure your rating, or your elo. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. And I would encourage anyone who's watching, if you haven't done this before, maybe stop the video here and then attempt the test yourself, and then go back, and then you can kind of compare to see how you how your thought process compares with my thought process. So anyway, I'm going to quickly read here. I'll skim through this. So okay, 76 problems. There's some distribution. I see this is put out by it looks like some kind of German university, Dusseldorf. Haven't heard of that. Maybe I should have heard of it. But we can see most players fall into this distribution. Estimated ELO rating 1871. Okay. Maybe that's the average. Falling positions, you're playing white to move. Note, however, that the best move is not necessarily a brilliant one. Some positions are rather simple, some are very tough. Just choose the move you would play in a real game. Okay, so that sounds simple enough. Refrain from only trying to find a combination. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And this is an experiment conducted by some people at, okay. All right, we're gonna get started. I'll click next here. Hopefully this doesn't mess up like the screen capture thing. Okay, looks fine. Example. Please enter your move by clicking on the piece you want to move and then clicking the intended target. Okay. So click, I assume. Can I click and drag? No, I can't. Okay, so click and then click. Okay. So now we're gonna start. 76 problems. I don't think this is timed, so I guess I could take as long as I want. I don't want to spend all day on this, so let's start. And for the easy ones, I'll try and just go quickly. Yeah, free queen, nice. Another free queen, rookie 1 check, king g2, bishop e4. Okay, now I have to think. I think that's fine for white, because king h3 in the end, or f3. And then, yeah, that should be fine. Queen take f7, rook e1, king g2, bishop e4, f3, bishop take a8, queen take h5. White should be winning that. Okay. Unless, is there bishop h3? No, there's not. Bishop e4 immediately. Wait a minute. Okay. I can't let my guard down. Queen take f7, bishop e4 immediately. But still, just f3. And if bishop h3, there's rook a1. Okay. Free queen. Okay, this is easy. This is also easy. Just stop the pawn. Oh, this is a classic one. Knight to b4, and then if black queens, there's knight c2. Now, actually, I wanna turn this into an instructive moment. Let's imagine black had some other pawn. Let's say black has perhaps a couple pawns on h7 and g6, and white goes for knight b4. The best move for black would then be to play a1 knight, preventing the fork and creating winning chances. It actually happened in one of my games once. Anyway, okay, knight b4. Cool. Wow, this is so easy. Okay, so I'm 7 out of 76. Continues to be easy. This is just made in 1. Okay, now we have a positional type example. A4 is screaming to be played. It's a very thematic move to open the A file, as black's rooks are not connected. C4, only winning move, I believe. Unless king f3 take, no, king f3 is not winning. We can take the knight and knight d5. This is another classic positional example. Yeah, I'm going with my intuition for some of these positional ones. This is mate in 1. Rook e7 wins the queen. This is mate in 1. Oh, this is a important one. White has to keep the opposition when black takes the pawn, so king h2 is the only drawing move. Okay, now there's some moment to think. I mean, bishop takes c6 leads to some position, just good knight versus bad bishop. I don't think there's any tactics. Knight a6 doesn't make any sense. If b6, or what am I talking about? If knight take b7, that doesn't work either. So the idea of bishop take c6 and then just walking the king up to like a5. I don't know if white has a clear win there, but it just looks so appealing. Normally I would like to understand white's plan before committing to take the knight. So bishop takes c6, b takes c6. Maybe it's possible to like put the knight on e5 and then put the king on c5. Might be some technical challenges. But if we don't take on c6, black's just going to play knight d8 and c6 and b6 and just kind of untangle. So we have to take. Okay. First position, there's not like an immediate move that's like screaming to be played. Even though d5 looks attractive. Actually, d5 looks very attractive. Then there's rook d8. But the whole point is to take on f6 and just damage the structure. So like d5, knight e7, bishop take f6, pawn take f6, white's doing well. Knight e5, does that lead to anything? Knight e5? Not as much. Okay. Okay, another position. Rook e1 is the first candidate move. There's also queen e2 check. I mean, rook e1 just prevents black from castling. So I assume this is the strongest move. And there's c5, but I don't think that leads to much. Just gives black the d5 square. We could take on g6 first, but that should only help black. Especially if black is not going to castle and play king f8, then we don't want the h-file to open up for black. So rook e1. Ooh. Oh, this is, I think I've seen this position before. This is some kind of like endgame study where you have to play king e5, get tempo on the bishop, then king d4 is a draw. This is mate in 2. Okay, this is interesting. Knight f6. It took a moment there to find it. Knight f6, and then we just take on f8. Or knight f6. If queen take f6, we just take. Okay. Rook take e5, and then probably we fork on f7. It's nice. Right. I'm always like suspicious of potential counterplay, but okay, that works. Take knight and then get some nice square. So the first thing that comes to mind is bishop take d7 and knight e5. I'm about a third of the way through. 23 out of 76. I don't know if it really does much. Like bishop take d7, queen take d7, knight e5. The reason why we might take on d7 though is because black wants to play b5 and just completely shut down the bishop. If black wants to play b5, then we pretty much have to take on d7, even if it's not leading to much with knight e5. There is some famous game, Short Kramnik, where like the bishop got stuck. I'm pretty sure the bishop got stuck on b3, and then it was just devastating for short. Okay, bishop take d7. More of a prophylactic move. This is winning the queen. Bishop take d6. Okay, there should be some mate here. I like knight f6. Knight f6 is nice. Knight f6, g take f6, queen g4, king h8, bishop take f6 mate. And if knight f6, king h8, there's queen take h7 mate. Can I draw arrows? No, I cannot draw arrows. Okay, knight f6, just winning. Rook h7 is a classic mate. Rook h7, knight take h7, and queen g7 mate. Okay. It's a complex position. Black is threatening some kind of like rook take a2 and queen a7. So the first move I'd like to play is rook f7, which I think is very strong, because then if queen take g6, there's rook take f8 and we win the queen. Or we win we win at least a knight. So rook f7, there's no more rook take a2. The queen is just stuck. It's got to be rook f7. What else to do? This is just queen take h5 and rook h6. Okay, positions are getting messier. The first thing that comes to mind is some kind of clearance tactic with moving the queen and then knight e6. And material is equal here, so I'm wondering if we can't just play queen take f5. Like queen take f5. I'm just always concerned when we put our queen on a square that's hanging like this, there could be counterplay potential. Queen take f5. Queen take h2. Like king take h2, rook h8, queen h3. So queen take f5. There's one line I want to calculate where the knight might get trapped. Like rook take f5, knight e6. Let's say king f6. Knight takes c7. No, the knight's not getting trapped because we attack the bishop and we attack b5. Okay. Probably overthought that, but just wanted to make sure. Oh, this one. I haven't seen this one in a while. I've wanted to show my students this one. I'm going to take a screenshot to show my students this one. Or maybe I'll just tell my students to do this whole this whole test. This one is, I believe, just a6. And then king d6, b6. It's the only way to queen the pawn. The one issue with this, it's not satisfying like tactics trainer where you get to play out the whole variation. This is just a matter of playing the first move. This is convenient. My mouse is already hovering over the correct move. c6, there's going to be a knight fork, no matter what black takes back with. This is a classic one. Rook, wait a minute. I was about to say rook h8, but bishop can take on h8. Maybe it's still the right move. The problem is if we play queen h2 first, then the black can play something like rook fc8. And there's no mate, queen h7, king f8. But if we play rook... Whoa, this is getting complicated. If we play rook h8, bishop take h8, and then let's say we put the queen on h2, then there's rook a2. Ah! This is so weird. Okay. So, rook h8, bishop take h8. We have to play queen h1, not queen h2, I believe, to prevent counterplay. We play queen h1 because after rook a2, king take a2, there's no rook a8 check. So let's say queen takes c2, king a1. The queen on h1 controls a8. But there's rook a8 anyway. Then we can take. And king g7. Oh, and we're up a rook. The queen's on c2. Then maybe we just move back. Like queen take a8, king g7, queen h1. For anyone who didn't follow that, the line I'm calculating is rook h8, bishop take h8, queen h1, rook a2, king take a2, queen take c2, king a1. There's no other checks other than like rook a8, queen take a8, king g7. And then we go back to h1, because then we're threatening mate in 2, and black has no time to take the knight, and we're up a rook. That should be good. h1. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, rook h8. King can't take. The bishop has to take. Queen h1. I mean, black is pretty limited. Rook can't move because it's made in 2. Rook a2, take there. Pretty sure it's working. Hey, so I was right. I said rook h8 is classic. Initially I didn't realize how deep it is. Hopefully I'm right. I don't know if I'm right. This is a classic one. Queen d8 and then bishop g5 double check and then rook d8 mate. Rook e4. I feel like I've seen this one before. Rook e4 is just crushing. Because we're threatening mate. The queen is pinned to the g7 square. It's gotta work. If bishop take, yeah, we take the queen. Oh, if rook take, we have queen c8 and that's mate. Okay. This is looking strong for white. Just a question, how do we win this? I mean, rook take g7. There's a lot of candidate moves. Bishop take h7. There's h5. There's even like queen e4. Queen e4 is a funny move. I don't know if that works though. Maybe it does work. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe I should just start calculating like some forcing thing. Because I'm realizing black doesn't have immediate counterplay. Like there's no immediate check, so we can start having fun. Okay, rook take g7. Black pretty much has to take because we're threatening rook take h7. Material's equal here too. Okay, so rook take g7, king take g7, queen g4, king h8, and then like just queen h5. How's black defending h7? Take g7, king take g7, queen g4, king h8, queen h5. There's king g8, but then we take on f6. Okay. So this position, it seems like black has counterplay, so we have to do something somewhat quickly. There's rook d7. Okay, there's rook d7, which is interesting, because if king take, then it's just made in 2. If bishop take, we have queen e7, king c8, queen take f8. And then if king b7, we play queen b8, king a6, and then queen a8 mate. So I'm curious about... Oh, okay, so rook d7, king c8, we just have rook c7. If king d8, queen e7 mate. If king b8... Where's the follow-up? Probably have some strong discovery. Rook d7, king c8, rook c7, king b8. Black wants to play a d2 and just be annoying. Here's rook takes e6 check. Then king a8. Oh, there's just rook f7 after king b8. Just rook f7, we win the rook. That should be good enough. and then the queen comes in. So rook d7, king c8, rook c7, king b8, and then rook f7. And like king 8, rook take f8, and queen e7's coming. Okay. Nice move. The first move that pops out here is queen d5 check, because it's the only check in the position. But does it work? Queen d5, bishop take d5, bishop take d5. By the way, I'm about halfway through. Almost halfway through. Oh, this is going to be a long video. Wow. Hopefully my computer can handle this. It should. Queen d5. Take. If king h8, h take g6, king take, or h take g7, king take g7. I'm not seeing mate there. Guess we can get the same position if king f8. Take g7, take g7. Wait a minute, we're just winning the queen. I forgot, the queen's hanging on g4 and then we're just up a bishop. Queen d5. Take, and we win the queen. So focused on winning the king. And if the king moves initially, we can win the bishop, at the very least. Okay, queen d5. This is a classic one. I believe it's just queen b7. And then there's issues for black. This is a Philidor position. The first time I ever drew a GM, I had to know this position. It's what we call the third rank defense, or the Philidor. Or if you're black, it can be the 6th rank defense. This is classic queen h8, bishop f6. Ooh. I think the move here is e5, d take e5, and king c1 to get distant opposition. This type of position, this is why you need to understand that position. Because if we play something like king c2, king d4 is just winning. But e5, take e5, king c1, it's just a draw. We keep opposition. You can never allow the king to help guide the pawn while being in front of the pawn. So e5. By the way, I hope the background noise isn't too distracting. I'm in an Airbnb in like a kind of busy street, and there's bells going off, but hopefully it's okay. Okay, I have 42 problems down. Not sure if this is going to be positional or tactical. But it's just white to play. Find the best move. Nothing immediately pops out. Unless c5 is really strong. c5 could be the move. It's sort of a positional pawn sacrifice, because b takes c5, then bishop to b5. And then the knight is kind of weird to defend, has to play c6, and then we play bishop c4. It's probably worth giving away a pawn. Now, c5 is my first choice so far. Because if we do something slow, like rook d2, and black just plays queen e7, rook a d1, rook a d8. There's no tactics against the e5 pawn, I don't think. I was thinking queen c3, but that runs into e4 tactics for black. I like c5, because we want to activate the light squared bishop. And this line with c5, b takes c5, bishop b5, c6, bishop c4, black's bishop just kind of dies. Because there's bishop a6 in that position. But the pawn structure is terrible. We have like knight d2, knight c4 ideas or knight e4 ideas, and d6 could be weak. It's gotta be good. Okay. King is on e8. White's king is on e3. What's material? Material's equal. Are we just mating? Is it just mate in 3? Queen take e7, king take e7, rook g7. Just mate in 3. King e8, knight f6 mate. Whoa. I have a feeling it's not bishop take d5. Because that's just a draw, right? Is that a draw? Huh. So it's a draw. I know the position without b and c pawns, where you have the light squared bishop, but you can't win the a7 pawn, so I assume it's the same thing. But I'm curious, if we play bishop take d5, and then let's imagine we get the white king to c6, and black's king is on b8, and it's black's move. If king a8, we would have king c7 mate. But if king c8, it's just a draw, I believe. So that means we just take with the pawn, and it's an easy win, right? Because our king catches a c pawn. Yeah. Okay, that was a funny one. Bishop a3 is begging to be played, because black doesn't have a dark squared bishop. And then we prevent black from castling. Interesting position. The first move that comes to mind is bishop e8, threatening queen d7. And there's no queen g4 check, so our queen is actually in a good defensive place on a4. But bishop e8, there's queen f5, and rook e6 maybe? It's also king c7, like bishop e8, king c7. Then we play queen d7, king b6, queen take d6, and everything flows. Yeah, so I think bishop e8 is relatively forcing, because we threaten mate in 1. Queen f5 or queen h3 are the only tries. And then I think we have rook e6. And what does black do? There's just no defense to d7. Okay. There's no time for bishop e5, which is a move black would love to play. Okay. Well, white's playing for a win. If we play king g5, then there's rook h1, it's just a draw. So the only move to play for a win is king f5. I think it's winning, because rook h5, king f4, rook h4, king f3, rook h3, king g2. And then you have to win queen versus rook. First thing that comes to mind is rook takes c6, king takes c6, queen take d5, king take d5, bishop e4 mate. It's got to be good. It's equal material. That's nice. Sack the exchange, then sack a queen, and mate the king in the center. Okay. This position is equal material. Queen is on c7. There's a lot of like loose type of things for black. Everything is sort of defended. But it seems like this should be tactical. Maybe knight take e6. Wait. Knight take e6. F take e6. Bishop g6 check. King f8. Ah, rook take e6. And then if queen takes c7, there's rook e8 mate. If queen take e6, there's queen d8 mate in 2. That's pretty forcing. I take e6, f take e6, bishop g6. Ah, is this this well-known position where you have to walk around from this side and take the a4 pawn? Like king b1, king e5, king a2, king d5, king a3, and white is winning. And then there's some funny line, like if king b1, black plays a3, we have to play b3. And then king e6, here, here, here. And if here, here. Yeah, it's winning. Yeah, king b1. I've seen this before. This is a funny one. You can show it to students and it can really stump a lot of people. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, rook d8. Rook d8 was the first move that came to mind, but then I thought bishop take d8. But then there's queen e8 mate. Rook d8, rook take d8, there's queen take b7. That's nice. Feel good tactic. I'm a bit curious if both sides can castle, because that could be relevant to the position. I'm just going to assume yes. But black or white can't castle right away. It's just a question, can white castle eventually? There might be some relevant lines. But what to do here? This could just be positional, like just play queen e4 and get a good knight. Because black wants to, I mean, I assume black wants to queenside castle if it's legal, and build up pressure against d2. Because there's knight e4 immediately. Knight e4. Black gives up a pawn. The pawn structure is pretty bad for black. Not entirely sure. Rook f1's a candidate move. Queen g4 is a move. Queen g4, there's queen f5. And queen e4 is still my first choice. Because the knight on e4 just looks so good. And there's so many like positional ideas. Like when you have the knight on e4, there's no real breakthrough for black along the files. We put the king on e2, rook on f1, and we try and lift over, maybe get a rook to g3 to start winning the g-pawns. Black would be forced to take. Yeah, I think white wants the queen trade. I'm not entirely sure about this one. Queen e4. Oh, then black can queenside castle anyway. But it should be similar, because black queenside castles, we take the queen, king e2, knight e4. Okay. Crazy position. Counting material. Material's probably not relevant, but black is up a pawn. There's no queen e1 check immediately, which is good. So how do we kill the king? Maybe queen g6. Does queen g6 actually work? If f takes g6, we made in 2. There's no immediate counterplay. We're threatening to take on g7. It's got to be it. Okay, 22 more to go. I don't remember what time I started, so hopefully this video can stay under an hour. But we'll see. Okay, what's going on here? There is a nice space advantage for white. Materials equal. No immediate tactics that I see. No immediate positional ideas. mean, there's g4. g4 is an idea. Probably have to start identifying potential resources. G4 is kind of a forcing line. F takes g4, bishop g6, king d8. Let's see how that could be good. And c4 is a move to try and access this this d6 square for a knight. Oops. Sometimes structures like this, white would be hesitant to play c4 because it slightly weakens d4. But sometimes it's worth opening up the center. Like c4. Issue is I don't know if there's a threat. I guess the threat is just c take d5. Open the c file. And then black's king is... like black's king then doesn't want to castle queenside. And it's a bit more stuck. Considering other random ideas like knight f1, knight e3, even rook g1 to prepare, or h3 to prepare g4. There's also a4 to try and play a5. I don't know. I feel like I'm liking c4 because it's the only like clear idea in the position, but I don't know if it's that strong. I could keep analyzing c4, d takes c4. Probably take with knight there. If he takes with bishop, bishop takes c4, the light squared bishop is a monster. So then at some point, black will play bishop c7. But look, if we imagine, like c4, d takes c4, knight takes c4, bishop c7, white can probably already play knight d6. And yeah, I feel like the position's opening up in white's favor. Go for this. 21 more problems. They're getting more difficult. Well, this position doesn't seem... like the previous one was very pleasant for white, but this seems not so impressive. Black controls the only open file. It's equal material. Opposite color bishops. It'd be amazing if we can open up this diagonal for the bishop. But pawn and e4. Move like f4, black just takes en passant. So maybe the move is to, okay, I have an idea. Bishop f1, bishop c4, and bishop d5. I don't know if that plan can be prevented, because they're all light squares. Maybe black could play queen e6. Queen e6 is kind of annoying. It's all about getting the bishop to d5, because then white would then just be good, probably. But bishop f1, queen e6. And maybe just... maybe rook d3 there? Try and trade off pair of rooks. And it's gotta be bishop f1 though, just because the bishop is doing nothing on g2. I just don't know what to do after queen e6. Could try to put the queen on a4 to prepare bishop c4, which is maybe reasonable. Like bishop f1, queen e6, queen c2, but play queen a4. And if rook hd8, queen a4, rook d2, bishop c4. Queen f6, f1. Okay, I think this is the best approach. Is queen g6 working? Queen g6. Take. Wow, queen g6. It's a thematic idea when white has so many pieces attacking. But queen g6, f take g6, knight e7, king h8, knight take g6, and its mate. It's important, knight e7 would be double check. Wait, and if black takes with the... Wait a minute. Queen g6, h take g5. I guess we just take back with the h-pawn. Queen still can't be taken. We're threatening knight take f6. Okay. Looks like a classic, like Rosen scene French. I don't know if there's any like tactical ideas. I feel like if there were tactical ideas, they would be very obvious. Okay, less than 20 left. Like if the bishop were on c8, we would love to take on f6 and play queen e4. I feel like this is a position I should know what to do here. It's just such a normal type of structure. We can take on f6, play bishop e4. Just seems to be okay for black. Knight e5 is a normal move. Could lose a d4 pawn. c3 is a move. What does black want to do? Black might want to play c5 soon. I have a feeling this is the most difficult position so far. Maybe it's just very easy, I'm overlooking something, but I don't quite see what to do. There's a lot of normal moves, c3. I mean, maybe this is just one of those positions you just play a move like rook d1. And then you put the question to black. Actually, rook d1 looks nice, because rook ad1, we prevent c5. We prevent any like bishop take f3 shenanigans. And we play rook ad1 because we want the other rook to e1. It just seems like a so boring move. But rook d1. And if this were a blitz game, this is probably the first move I play. Queen d5. I guess with rook d1, we have ideas of then playing knight e5, because the d-pawn would be defended by tactics. Okay, rook d1. I think that was a type of position where it was just a matter of playing a normal move. What is going on here? The first thing that comes to mind is knight g7. Because we want to save the knight. And if bishop takes g7, we can play king g6. There's some zugzwang happening, I think. After bishop h8, king f7. And the king has to move to c8, and then we win. Gotta be knight g7. This black could try and survive, like doesn't have to take the knight. But then, I mean, it should be winning after knight e6. As we'll get the king to g6, we'll start winning pawns. Yeah. Okay, another normal position. I played this opening as black actually. Or I played the same structure. So this is white to move. I mean, the most common plan here is to play b4, and with the rook already on b1, b4 is kind of, it's just begging to be played. I don't think there's any tactics here. h7's defended. I mean, there's another plan of knight e5, which could also be strong. But knight e5 can often run into a move like knight 6 to d7. And then there's ideas of f6 and just things get traded. But with b4, the plan of b5 is just so clear. And white wants to create some minority attack, like b4, b5. If black plays a6, white plays a4. If black plays b5, it's weakening to c6. Yeah, I probably have to go with that. Because I'm thinking knight, also looking still at knight e5, knight 67, and then some f4 idea. But black can trade. I think it's okay. Okay, I'll play b4. King's Indian structure. Getting tired. 16 more problems. This could be long if every problem gets more difficult. And the first thing I'm looking at is taking on h4 and playing knight b5. Then the queen can come back, and really no progress. This could be a positional type idea where we just avoid the trade of bishops and play bishop g1. Could also consider g3. g3 is probably not good though, because f take g3, h take g3, bishop g5. And yeah, white would be losing material. Okay, so do we take on h4? Or do we play bishop h1? Or do we play queen e1? The eventual plan white probably wants to go for is c5. Which means we probably can't allow b6. Like if we imagine bishop g1, black just plays b6. It's very hard to play c5 because we don't necessarily want to play b4. Open up the queen side too much. I could just be misjudging the position. Because black Starksford bishop is not the best piece. So there's a line I'm looking at: bishop take h4, queen take h4, c5. D takes c5, and then like d6. Explode the center. Then c6. This is tough. Oh, I see the timestamp. I've been recording for 50 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Video can go. I don't want the video to be over 2 hours, but just over an hour will hopefully be okay. What else to consider? There's no way to deflect the queen. We have to do something with this bishop. I feel like this position is more about understanding rather than calculation. There's knight to g1. Looks a bit strange though. It could be calculation if we take on h4 and then have something immediate like g4. I don't think that works. There's another perspective to take on this is the fact that after bishop take h4, queen take h4, black has nothing developed on the queen side, and white is doing better with development. Continue calculating like knight b5. And then go for c5. Like bishop take h4, queen take h4, knight b5, rook f7, then c5. Something like that. And then if take, then d6, and that could be strong. Thing is, after knight b5, there's knight a6. I kind of forgot about it. Knight a6 is probably a good resource for black. It's funny, all these lines are involving bishop take h4 first move, but I want to just have some confidence. After bishop take h4, queen take h4, maybe I could start with c5. And then if d takes c5, I didn't like d6 earlier because black had c6. But maybe after d takes c5, we play knight b5. Then going for d6. And if knight a6, d6, c6 is d7. That's a bit messy, but the knight can come to c3. I'm just going to go for bishop take h4. I'm not entirely confident, but it seems like there's some interesting possibilities for white involving the c5 move. Okay, this looks like some endgame study. Is it just bishop f1? But if black wins the f-pawn, it could be a draw. So I have to calculate bishop f1, king f3, h4. Wait, okay, bishop f1, king f3, h4, king g4. King g4 and king take f4 are moves. Let's start with king g4. And I think bishop h3. Bishop h3, king take h4, bishop take f5, king g3. It's just a draw, though. So maybe just bishop take d3 after king g4. And if take on h4, we're in time with the king to defend the f-pawn. If king take f4, then we play bishop e2. And black's in Zugzwang. Because after king e5, h5, it's winning. Okay. So bishop f1, king f3, h4. King g4, I've determined bishop take d3 is winning for white. So after bishop f1, king f3, h4, there's king take f4. But then bishop h3. Yeah, bishop h3, same kind of Zugzwang. These two squares are controlled. If d2, just king take d2. Okay, bishop f1. I didn't even consider bishop take f5. Why not? Probably because king f3. Yeah, king f3, king take f4 is... Wait, bishop take f5, king f3, h4, king take. And then bishop e6. But then f5. And then the king can kind of come around. Okay. Is it just rook g7? Please let this be an easy one. Rook g7. There's king h8. Rook g7, king takes g7, we win the queen with bishop take e5. If king h8. I King h8, we can take on e5. And then if queen takes c2, we mate in 2. Okay. I'm taking less time here to like triple check everything because I'm tired. I want this to be over with. 13 more problems. Queen e8, there's queen f8. So what do we do? There's some deflection tactic, bishop f4. Oh, this one. I haven't seen this. I've seen this idea before, but not the specific position. It's rook take a6. This is a really nice back rank trick. There's a book by Yusupov called Chess Lessons. It's a green book. He has a whole chapter on like back rank mate. I remember this one from his book. It was like some out of nowhere move. Rook take a6 and everything works. I think it better work. What is this? So if we promote to rook, then there's rook e5. And it's stalemate. But white wants to win. Or sorry, if we promote to queen. If we promote to queen, there's rook e5 and it's stalemate. So if we promote to rook, it's just a draw, though. So we play knight g6, preventing rook e5. What's the difference? Oh, wait. Yeah, because if knight d7, there would be rook g8, and we could repeat. But knight g6 should be the winning move. Rook g1, king f2. Okay. Oh, it's getting tricky. I have an idea about this one. The first line that came to mind is bishop g3, threatening to take on f2. We played, or black plays d3, bishop take f2, d2, and then bishop e1. Because if black promotes to queen, it's stalemate. If black promotes to... If black doesn't promote, we just take on d2, it's a draw. And if black promotes to rook, we have king e2. And that should also be a draw. Rook a1, bishop g3. And we'll play bishop f4 and win the pawn. And bishop g3. Because I feel like if we play bishop g5, the king can escape. And that could be problematic. This is just so forcing. Bishop g3, d3, take. Let's do it. Positional chess. Is it f4? f4 is a thematic move. f4 probably is just bad because bishop d6 in the end. King's on h2. So we could play g4 because white has more knights. Can try and get knights to f5 and h5. Could just be g4. Idea of knight e2, knight g3. And then knight h5. It's hard to stop. Let's go with intuition. Try and speed through some of these final problems. Okay, less than 10 left. Exactly 10 left. Math is difficult. Okay, I want to back rank mates black. So is there some interference like knight e4 or knight e6? The first two moves that come to mind. Not sure what the difference is. Knight e4, queen take e4, we mate. Oh, if knight e6, we don't mate, because queen take e6 and there's queen g8. So knight e4 has to be the move. We're threatening the rook, and we're threatening the queen. That's beautiful. What's this position? Queen b1. Okay, let's count material. Material is equal. Let's look at resources. g4 is a resource. Bishop e4 is a positional move. e4 is attacked though. It's just b c3. Defend the pawn. Could be queen b4. Just trade. There's ideas of like rook a3 or to c3. This one could take a while because I'm not sure. I mean, white has a like it's a rich position. There's a lot of ideas. Rook a3. Knight take d4, rook c3, and then queen e2 mate. That would be tragic. So it's probably not rook a3 because knight take d4. It's too strong. And c3 is not the move white wants to play because then bishop becomes bad on d2. Maybe it could be queen b4. And then it's just positional play. The problem... No, there's no problem with queen b4. I was thinking queen b4, knight take d4, but then white just plays knight take d4. Wins the piece. So queen b4, I think, is the best way to kind of solve the issue on d4. And even though it's trading queens where black's king is maybe attackable, leads to a positional game where, okay, if black takes on b4, we get the bishop on b4, amazing piece. The a7 pawn is always backwards. Ideas of king d2 and doubling on the a file. We go for queen b4. Ah, this one. I've shown my students this many times. King h1. Not going to spend any time. Long distance opposition. Okay. Well, white is looking to be in pretty good shape here. Knight on d6. Black wants to play knight c8, most likely. Question is, how do we optimize or maximize advantage? b5 is playable, bishop b5, rook c1, knight take b7 doesn't make any sense. Knight g5 is a move. Knight g5 has the threat of knight take b7. And black would probably have to defend. Maybe h6. But then, actually there's two threats with knight g5. Knight g5, h6, knight take e6, queen take e6, knight take b7. Get weird after knight c8. So knight g5, h6. That gets pretty weird. It might be good for white, just not sure. a5's a move. a5, a6. So a5, knight c8, a6, knight take d6. Don't know if that leads to much. b5 doesn't seem to lead to much. Looking at lines like with bishop b5 and rook b1 or rook to c1, but doesn't seem to quite work. Okay, I'm going to go back to this knight g5 line. So I dismissed it because it was too weird, but maybe I should look closer, because knight g5. Knight c8 is not playable. h6 I think is a key variation. And then I want to take on e6, queen take e6, knight take. And if we can get the knight back to d6, everything is good, but then there's knight to c8. And the knight's kind of stuck. I just didn't see what to do there. Knight c8. And there's bishop a6 to defend. Maybe just bishop a6. Rook b8. And just hold on to the pawn. Worst case scenario, we castle and give it back. Or wait, we play a5 instead of bishop a6. Create an outpost on b7. So knight g5. Rook b8. Just another line. Knight g5, rook b8. So I don't know if knight g5 does anything. Spent so much time trying to make that work. And there's rook b8. That's tough. Because then black then has ideas of h6 or knight c8. It's kind of sad. I haven't considered g4 yet, probably for good reason. Shouldn't lead to much. Okay. Almost done with this test, but it's a difficult problem. I don't want to make a move that's like just not well informed. I feel like knight g5, rook b8 just isn't productive. Unless there's some concrete reason. And ideally, white would like to prevent knight c8, but it's so difficult. I don't even know what else to look for here. Looks like I could try and combine the resources in different ways. What did I say after a5? I said a5 knight c8 immediately. Because a6 knight take d6. Am I missing something there? Should also note there's rook b8 after a5. But that should be good, because then I have a6, bishop 8, and the bishop is stuck if I get pawn to b5. Okay, so a5, knight c8. a6, knight take d6, pawn take d6. Bishop's attacked, has to move to c8. Then maybe I just play b5. The knight moves and queen b4. So b5, knight a5, queen b4. I want to play knight e5, but then there's rook d8. Knight e5 still, black wins the pawn. I don't know. a5, knight c8. a6. It's difficult. I'm going to look at that line one more time. a5, knight c8, a6, knight take d6, pawn take d6. Bishop c8, b5, knight a5. Queen b4, rook d8. Knight e5, queen take d6. Queen take d6, take d6. I don't see anything. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's just a normal move. Look to play b5. Play bishop d3. Rook c1. I really don't know. 5, rook b. Okay, I don't want to take too long on this. I wonder if it will show me like the answers. Hopefully it does afterwards. I'm still looking for resources. Take like a5 and knight g5. They just seem so close to working. I mean, maybe it could just be positional, like a5, knight c8, we can just take on c8, play a6. The bishop's kind of stuck. Okay, I'm just going to play a5. Not 100% sure. But moving on. I was really hoping this would be an easy one. Is it easy? Is it just bishop d2? No. This is probably going to be another difficult one. This hour, almost an hour and 15 minutes in. Don't have too much energy left. Wait, okay, I have an idea. Queen b3. We attack f7. Material's equal, right? Yeah. So queen b3. Black has to play rook f8. And then bishop d2. There's b4. Forgot about b4. I mean, there's bishop take f7, queen b3 check. Does that lead to anything? Bishop d2, b4. Ah, then knight g5. Wait, okay. I might be confident with this. Bishop take f7, king take f7. And there's wait, we also have knight g5 in the other line. Because in this line after queen b3 there's king g6. Should maybe be good for white somehow. But let's look at queen b3 immediately, rook f8, bishop d2, b4, knight g5. We just attack f7 3 times. There's knight c5, could get murky. But I'm kind of tired, and I'm going to go for queen b3, I think. Queen b3. Queen b3, rook f8, bishop d2, b4, knight g5, knight c5. Maybe just queen c4. And there's knight e6. But then we win a pawn. Okay, queen b3 it is. Okay, 5 left. Tricky position. What's material? It's equal material. Black has center pawns, more space. We want a knight to get to d4. How would that work? Move the rook somewhere. Go for b5 probably doesn't make any sense. f3. Don't know if black has any immediate threats. This is tough. I don't really have any candidate moves yet. Move the bishop somewhere. What does white want to do here? Like, one of these positions is just not clear what to do. Thinking about f4, but then bishop take f4. Rook f2, g5. And then knight e2. f4 can't be good. This bishop f6. What if it's just rook a2? It's a funny move. It's only square the rook really can't be attacked. If rook b2, bishop f6. If rook c2, there's e3. Rook a2. With the idea of knight e2, knight d4. Yes, black still has e3. But then f3. And we still want to play knight e2. Looks solid. Okay, I'm going to go for it. Because it's the only idea that I see. I think this is an easy one. I think it's just rook b2. And then if rook takes e7, we play rook b8 check, king moves, and then rook e7, and we win. The rook e2, king f7, probably rook b7, threatening king d5. Yeah, I should be winning. Okay, nearing the end. 3 more left. It's tough. Hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so this is equal material. This could just be positional, like moving the knight somewhere more effective. There's a funny idea here to play g4, g5 and try and get the e5 square. Probably too weird though. Black could play g5. So knight d2 could be a normal move. Maybe just like b3, a4. Wait, I see a tactic. I was thinking positionally, but there's a tactic here to play a4 immediately. The bishop has to take. Because if the bishop moves, I win the c6 pawn. So bishop take a4, then queen a3. And then the bishop moves back to b5, and we just take on b5. Queen take a3, rook b7. Beautiful. I have a feeling this has to do something back rank, and the rook on c5. And b4 is a candidate move. It's equal material, okay. Black wants to play knight d4. I have to do something relatively quickly. So let's say b4. There would be, okay, there's not, is there rook or knight d4? Knight d4, rook take d4. White wins at least a pawn in that line. So b4, let's say rook c4. This could just not be tactical. This could be just get some small advantage. Rook d5 is a move. Thinking b4, knight take b4, and then knight d5. Oh, but that just loses a pawn. Because rook takes c1, rook takes c1, knight back to c6. So maybe some rook d5 move, just change the structure where white can, like rook take d5, pawn take d5, knight d4, king d3. And white should be slightly better. More active king, f4 coming. Because what else to do? Like, all these other moves seem just to be equal. There's knight c5. Then black gets knight d4 and d5. Could calculate a bit further. Rook d5, take, take. Knight d4, king d3, king e7. f4, king d6. f4 probably f6. And take, take. Then maybe knight e4. Could just be equal. I'm going to play rook d5. I want this to be over. Last position, 76 out of 76. I mean, I want to take on f6. Don't know if that leads to anything. Queen take f6. d6, queen take d6. Could it just be like queen g7? With some threat of queen or rook take f6? Okay, let's count material. White's up a pawn. No, material's equal. I think white's up a pawn. Pawns all over the place. I would like to utilize some idea with, at some point, playing pawn d6. Maybe we just play queen h4. Where's the bishop going? Actually, yeah, queen h4 has a double threat of queen take g4 and rook take f6, given that there would be a potential pin. So like queen h4, bishop d7, queen or rook take f6, queen take f6, d6, and there's no more queen take d6. I'm done. Okay, well done. Before we will provide you with an estimate, we have some questions. Helpful to, okay. Okay, cool. I have taken part seriously. Oh, I've taken, yeah, I took this pretty seriously. Maybe the last problems were a bit less serious, but okay, it was overall very serious. How many of the 76 problems did I know already? Now I have to think. I mean, the checkmates, and there are some that I knew the idea. It was a new position. But like that king b1 problem I knew. I'm gonna assume that like it was just like with endgame positions, a lot of them I had like known before. I'm gonna say about 10. That's a reasonable estimate. How many of the 76 problems did you solve with help of computer or database? 0. Okay. um, yeah, I think 10 is a fair estimate. It was my impression the difficulty increased. It didn't really increase with each problem, because some were easy towards the end. Increased after a correct answer. It wasn't random either, because the first problems were much easier than the final problem. So I'd probably say this. Increased after a correct answer and decreased, yeah. How much fun? I had fun at the beginning, like a lot were feel good, but towards the end, I mean, it was stressful. But overall, I had fun. I'll say 5 out of 7. It's a weird scale. Okay, next. How old am I? Oh man, am I gonna give my age away to the whole YouTube ecosystem? I guess people can just look me up. Yeah. Uh, where am I from? USA? Do I have? Yes. I don't even know. I don't want to check my national rating. I guess I could check it. Oh, by the way, okay, there's a cool way to check it. I'll just use this as a plug for self-promotion. We can go to imrosen.com. I have to update my website. But if you click my these ratings, if you click this, we'll open in a new tab. You get my US homepage, my US profile, whatever. And my rating is 2439. Okay. So 2439. And if we go back to my website, we can click FIDE. 2355. I'm losing a lot of points after my last 2 tournaments. So thankfully it has not updated yet. Do you have a blitz rating? Not bullet lightning. I do, but I haven't used ICC in a long time. Wow, this is probably an old site because they don't have Lee Chess here. I have something on the chess.com. Yeah, but I don't know what my chess.com rating is. Go to chess.com. How do I check my ratings? How do I check my ratings? Oh, here's the ratings. Blitz is 2431. Okay. Oops. 2431. And no. Okay, next. Wow, they're making me give them so much data. How much time do I spend playing chess? Let's say an hour a day. No, I stream a lot though. And recently I've been playing like 4 hours a day because tournaments. I'll just say on average, say 3 hours. Wait, 3 hours per day. That's 20 hours per week. About 20 hours. Some days I don't play any chess. Let's say 15. No, I'll just say 18. Okay, how many chess books have you read in the last 2 years? 0? 2 years? I mean, I've read portions of chess books, but have I read full books? I'll just say 1. Probably the number of portions of books that I've read have totaled to like 1 full book. How many Blitz games have you played in the last 12 months? How do I see my profile? Blitz. Can I see the number of games that I played? So I've played 789 rated games. But that's total. Oh gosh, 103 hours. How many Blitz games? I'm just gonna say like 800 between like chess.com and everything else. How many years have I played chess seriously? 17. How many tournament games have I played in the last 2 years? They're difficult questions. I don't want to look up exact numbers. I guess I could though. Could I? Go to like general and stats. If you're a US player, this is a cool page to look at because it gives you all these stats. So the last 12 months I've only played 23 games, but that's US rated. I've played a lot of international events. So I'll double that for 2 years, let's say 50, and then I'll add like, I have to add a lot for international chess. If I just say 100, I'll say 80. Sounds about right. Okay, 80. How many hours a week spend playing and analyzing? Ooh, these could be different. Playing and analyzing? Oh, playing and analyzing, so that includes playing. I'll just say like 25. It's a lot on average. I mean, recently it's been a lot more, but okay. In entire life, how many hours did I receive lessons by a trainer? Wow, that's a difficult question. It's like an hour. It was like an hour a week for most of my development, I think second grade through high school. So let's say 10 years, an hour a week. But then it's not an hour every week, but we'll just say 50. Because I went to a lot of camps with like long seminars. So 50 times 10 is 500. About 500 hours. Overall, I consider, I mean, I don't want to be arrogant, but yeah. I'm trying to think of an email address I can share without. Wait, if I'm interested in other, I'm not even reading this. Oh no, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna put an email address. Next. Hey, it gave me a thing. Based on your move choices, our estimate ELO is 2423 with 90% confidence interval. I wonder, did they use my rating to, okay, they probably didn't use the rating to make that judgment. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty accurate. Was my US rating, I guess I performed slightly lower than my US rating, but I performed higher than my FIDE rating. And ELO is FIDE, right? Item response theory. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. This is a long recording, over an hour and a half. I would be curious to see how you guys did and see how accurate this test was. So if you want to leave a comment in the video, how did it go? Did you struggle? Any problems you had questions about or want to analyze? Or did you receive the same problems or different problems? I would be curious. So yeah, I'll leave it there. If you want to see any specific types of content, I did this video purely because I received a message from someone who just told me to take the test. So now I'll happily respond to him with hopefully a link to this video. So yeah, I will see you guys in the future. Bye.